Hey again, everybody. This seems like a perfectly fine hand on the draw in our second match. We've got our colors, we've got a Glacial Wall to hold the fort, and then a Phantom Monster and a Peregrine Drake to hopefully push through on our flying plan. We've also got a Daze if need be, so I'm definitely going to play an Island next turn. I guess I could have played it last turn, but I'm very unlikely to want to counterspell anything this turn. It's just like a Werebear, for instance. Okay. Next turn I can hardcast the Daze and not have to bounce a land back to hand, but I guess there's an argument to be made. If you're really concerned with your opponent on the play having a 2-drop, Werebear's not a bad one. You can ramp into a 4-drop here. I actually would be okay with that, I think, and then just dazing him. That is not the case. Civic Wayfinder. So this will help him find his 4th land. Alright, so we got a question here. Next turn we can play Glacial Wall and then still have Daze up. And the turn after that we could play Phantom Monster or Honden if we do not Daze. If we do, it's going to set us back a full turn. This thing isn't at all threatening. I'm just going to let him have it. I'm going to save the Daze for something more problematic. It's nice being able to just tap out with it. He might suspect that I have another counterspell, like a Memory Lapse, or I guess not a counterspell since I couldn't have cast it anyway. But we'll see what he does with that information. And if he taps out for a really threatening 5-drop here, I would likely Daze it, even though that means it's going to set us back a turn. It's not under much pressure. Glacial Wall can hold off anything. Just give me one more turn, so I can play a Phantom Monster. Would be nice. 3 colors, interesting. I guess we are also 3 colors. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, so he might not be able to break through our Glacial Wall, but he'll definitely be able to gain some life here. Doesn't have lifelink, but Armadillo Cloak is before they had that mechanic, such a thing. But yeah, we're not really taking damage, but we're not doing much either. So here we could play the Phantom Monster. Wouldn't help us too much. I probably just want to play the Honden, try and get some cards out of his hand. Unfortunately, we don't have many ways to get this, bounce this back to hand, which is how our color would normally deal with an enchantment-based deck. I'm guessing he's going to have more than just Armadillo Cloak. Unfortunately, a lot of our enchantment hate is in the sideboard. I would not mind drawing a War Priest of Thune, however. But ordinarily, that wouldn't be an issue because you'd have blue cards like Manowar or something that bounces back to hand so that all of his enchantments fall off. If he has like a Rancor or something, I might be a little concerned about this thing. It's going to take a long time to beat him. Alright. Do like this. Being able to hit his hand now. And we'll be able to play a Peregrine Drake and hold up Fact or Fiction or Daze, or play the Noble and hardcast Daze as well. So let's definitely play the Peregrine Drake. Go ahead and untap everything. He can no longer attack with his Werebear. He's not very close to getting Threshold at all. 7 or more cards in the graveyard. So we're going to untap all that. We can't actually play the Spirit Noble, unfortunately. Could play Phantom Monster, which would let us start trying to apply some pressure. I really want an answer to this guy, though. Get him to stop gaining so much life. So I kind of want to just hold up Fact or Fiction as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to set up a turn where I can Foff into maybe a Phantom Monster and a War Priest of Thune together. If I find a land in the War Priest next turn. That'd be pretty nice. Just the fact that he can't break through the Glacial Wall, though, is pretty good for us. And Honden's going to keep his hand light, hopefully. If we had played Honden of the Blue Wind, whatever it is, Sleeping or Seeking Winds, then that'd be nice. It'd be getting 2 cards out of his hand and drawing 2 every turn. It'd be really hard to lose from that point, I think. Opponent is at 32 life. Doesn't have anything to play with 6 mana. Okay. Duplicant would be nice. Would deal with the Civic Wayfinder nicely. And of course, Honden, I think, has to go in the other pile from the duplicant. So whichever one gives me more cards, I'm likely to take. Can't actually cast the duplicant. Yeah, I'll be 1 mana short. I think I want the duplicant, though. If he just gives me, like, duplicant and tap land, I would heavily consider taking the Honden, Calciderm, and the island. But we'll see. He really doesn't want me to have Honden, double Honden action going, I think. I would actually be concerned about beating him in time, though, before I deck myself, drawing 3 cards a turn. I don't know if I could deal 40 damage to him before it's too late. If this is the piles, these are the piles, rather, I would definitely take the duplicant. Oh, man. He's making it tough. Alright. I mean, Calciderm blocks him too, gives me time to play the duplicant. I don't think I'm going to need the Honden here. Pretty sure I have a deep analysis somewhere in my deck that I can get some more cards off of. I'm just going to take these 2. I really would have liked the lands, but I do have to consider my clock and actually winning before the Hondens deck me. He's just discarding cards every turn. I'm happy with that. Okay, we could play Power Stone and hold up Daze. We could play Calciderm. We could play Phantom Monster. Definitely going to attack him. I think I'm just going to play the Power Stone. Duplicant is the only way we can get rid of this thing. Though, could also play Calciderm, and then like next turn we could try and just play Duplicant, and we'd always have Power Stone plus Noble in the same turn. I think I'm just going to play Calciderm, actually. Start doing some damage. I still have the Daze to protect us from whatever he's got. He's just discarding lands at this point. He's got some spells over there he's reluctant to get rid of. Very curious. See what he does. Can no longer attack for free, so we can just block him with Calciderm. Can't remove it or anything because of Shroud. He can definitely pump his Wayfinder, however. I'd be okay with that. Firebolt on the Drake, and then flashback to kill it. I'm very okay with that, actually. I could honestly just daze the Firebolt in response to the second cast. Sets me back a turn, but he does not actually get this back. And how many more times am I going to get to actually use Daze here? So I'm just going to go ahead and counter that. Will not return it to his hand. It should be exiled, if memory serves. Yes, it was. Okay. So the guy survives, nothing happens. Continue milling him, or getting cards out of his hand. And now I get to start attacking him. And we know that we'll have a duplicate next turn. He knows that too. So here, still can't play the Noble. I'm just going to play Phantom Monster. I cannot attack with the Werebear. And just continue grinding out an advantage with Honden. Soon our duplicant's going to come down. He'll be out of cards shortly. Wouldn't mind drawing a, whatever that is, the Retrace, Call the Skybreaker, or whatever. Do need to beat him eventually, and that's a good way to do it. Especially with Worn Power Stone, we don't need to find any more lands at that point. Do need a second island, though, to be able to cast it. Funnily enough, we lost one island to the Factor Fiction and a Tranquil Cove, but we've got plenty of more blue sources in the deck. If he just attacks, I can put the wall in front of the Wayfinder still. He's going to keep gaining some life, but at least we're not taking any damage. I think I was right to Daze last turn as well. I don't think we're going to get a chance to use that anytime soon. Okay, just the Wayfinder. Go ahead and block that. I'm dying to know what's in our opponent's hand, if he's just been discarding lands and not casting anything. Has he really only drawn like 4 spells? Werebear, Wayfinder, Cloak, and Firebolt? He's going to cast something, and then we're going to get the other card with the Honden, I guess. Cratered Hellion. That's a good one. Does 4 damage to each other creature. Okay. So we lost our Drake and Wall. He lost his Werebear and Wayfinder and Armadillo Cloak. But, Oh, yeah, he knows we have the duplicant too. I'm curious why he would do that. Because now I also found my other island. That's good. So I'm just going to play this and eat that thing. We also got a Rorik's Bladewing for 6. I think I would have cast that last turn. I don't know. Curious. That's what he's been waiting for. Maybe it was his third mountain or something. But yeah, now he's got no cards in hand. I have a 6/6 and a 5/5 crashing into him right now. If we just find like a bounce spell or something, it'll be good. He can't hold up instants anymore because Honden will just get them. 2/1 Death Toucher is a good draw. Unfortunately, we can't second thoughts it. So, I'll lose my duplicant. I don't know if I want to do that, actually. I think I just want to hang on to it for now. It's going to be hard for him to deal with it in those colors, I think. Play Power Stone and Sprite Noble. Still got a lot of action in our deck. And just top decks. He has to reveal a top deck land or something because I get to see it with the Honden. Lost that. Okay, so we can Gaseous Form now, but that doesn't really help. Prevent all damage dealt to and by. So I think I just attack him with the Noble for now. The thing's got reach. I don't really want to lose my duplicate to it. I can just easily block anything. We've got so much mana now. If I draw any more lands, I'm likely not going to play them in case I want to retrace, call the Skybreaker. Got Gaseous Form for a problem creature of his, and a Second Thoughts. So I think we're in great shape this game. Still suspect about that. He had the Bladewing. I think I would have played that. Okay, Llanowar Elves, sure. Island. Do not actually wish to play it. So I think we'll just keep attacking him. Something's going to happen eventually. We're going to draw something better, or he's going to draw something that we can use our second thoughts on, and hopefully that gets us to a good spot. Silent Departure. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to bounce that. And could crash in for 8 by bouncing the elves, but I think I'm just going to wait. It's too bad I can't cast it at instant speed. Bounce it back to his hand and then get it with the Honden. So I think we're just going to hit him for 8 here. He's probably going to chump block. Yep. You can just replay that. But yeah, going back to that, I think he would have been better off with the Bladewing instead of the Crater Hellion, saving this for later. Well, he's got another Bladewing. Okay, that's cool. It's unfortunate. I was actually thinking that if he drew something really big this turn, he'd have to choose between casting it or the Thorn-Wheeled Archer, and then discarding the other one. That would have been okay if Bladewing cost 1 more mana. It's too bad he found lands beforehand. I think I just cast Second Thoughts here. Could leave that back to block. I really hope he attacks with it though. He's got to win somehow. I think he's got to attack me at some point. But he knows I have Silent Departure, so yeah, this is going to be very good for us. And an Unexpectedly Absent. So that will do it pretty much. So yeah, I just put this back on top of his deck, hit him, and then unsummon it the next turn. How does this work? Put it just beneath the top 0 cards. So it goes on top of his deck. Could have also put the duplicant back on top of my deck. I could also Silent Departure my own duplicant. Yeah, just gonna make him replay it, and then I Silent Departure it next turn. He's dead. Alright, so we would have drawn an island next turn. So we still have to draw our Call the Skybreaker, and got to see some power of duplicant there. Alright, so what are we worried about? I kind of like Ticking Gnomes against a lot of his attackers. It's good to block, good at blocking, and it also can just kill a lot of his elves, like that Reach Death Toucher. Kind of like Una's Grace. Stupefying Touch doesn't do too much. Seal of Cleansing might be worth bringing in for those Armadillo Cloaks. He's probably got others too. Yeah, not a whole lot else. I totally forgot about Karakas. I haven't seen. I think that Rorix is a legendary, so maybe I put that in actually. Unless this guy got the Wasteland, I think this is just strictly better than the Plains. Yeah, that's a mistake. That should be in my main deck, I think. Absolutely. All right. So what do we cut? I think we can cut a Daze here, even though he's got like Crater Hellion and 2 Rorixes. He's got a Werebear can ramp him up. We're on the draw. I guess we saw for those first few turns how difficult a decision it would have been to Daze something. Luckily, our opponent didn't really play anything beyond the Werebear and the Armadillo Cloak thing on the Wayfinder. But yeah, if we had to take a turn off, bouncing our island back, that would have been a big problem. Just to Daze. I think War Priest and Seal will be enough. Enchantment Hate. Prodigal Sorcerer will be great here. Gaseous Form, I guess, is good against those dragons, if need be. What can we cut then? I think maybe, even though Honden was great there, maybe on the draw, now that our opponent is expecting it, we can cut it. I think it would be either that or Field of Souls, perhaps. I don't think we can afford to bring in Una's Grace. I don't think we can afford to take out a land either, with Duplicate and Call the Skybreaker being so crucial. So, Power Stone is also good for getting to that point. I think I cut the Daze on the draw. He's already seen it, so he might play around it needlessly. That'd be nice. I didn't see anything with an activated ability yet, so no Stupefying Touch. So we could bring in the Ticking Gnomes. I think I'm going to bring that in over Field of Souls. Doesn't do anything on its own. And these guys, if I have nothing else, I can pay Echo and keep them around as a good blocker. So I'm going to run this out and hope for the best in Game 2. Stay tuned, everybody.